So, let me say this right out the gate. Sonic Generations is a very good Sonic game. Some might even say it's a great Sonic game. I don't know if I'd take it that far, but I will attest that Sonic Generations is a refreshingly well-polished adventure, and it's extremely replayable. This is a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one, given the fact that this particular title came out during, well, that era of Sonic. Yeah. It don't take me to tell you that Generations was an absolute standout during an era of constant dreg by Sonic Team, and it's hardly any wonder as to why. First and foremost, the game has hardly any glitches or bugs to speak of, which on its own is already a ground level achievement given that this is a 3D Sonic game we're talking about right here. You've also got the return of Boost era 3D Sonic gameplay, which essentially takes the classic 3D Sonic gameplay we know and love and turns it up to 11. I absolutely cannot get enough of this, man. It is such a wild rush of adrenaline every time I boost through each of these stages, and the level design, to top it all off, is in fact immaculate. You've got that classic Sonic level design working overtime here, with the top, middle, and bottom paths fluidly blending together like it ain't even a thing. The top path is of course always the quickest one, and the bottom path is almost always the slowest and most punishing. And the middle path is that one nobody really cares about, just like you remembered in those classic games of old. What's more, we've now got a modernized interpretation of the 2D classic Sonic stages, complete with the aforementioned top, middle, bottom path structure we know so well, with the cherry on top of it all being a revitalized spin dash maneuver that is much more bombastic than its predecessor. Jesus. I mean, come on, what more need I say here? Sonic Generations is, if nothing else, a consistent experience. I respect the heck out of the consistent level design here, for both 2D and 3D stages alike. There are no unneeded gimmicks shoehorned into any of these levels in a vain attempt to spice things up like you'd expect. Am I a joke to you? As pretty much all of it is just straightforward get Sonic to the goalpost as fast as you can type stuff. The 2D levels are definitely much more platforming heavy, if nothing else, and I can respect that given how much more effective a gameplay style platforming is in a 2D space than it is in 3D. Also, Sonic ain't just a speed guy, he's a platforming guy, through and through, and most people tend to forget that. Being a seasoned platformer and Sonic player myself, I know better than anybody that if you can stick those tight landings across the top paths, and as a reminder, those top paths will provide you with the quickest and easiest avenue to the goalpost, then it will be smooth sailing for you, friendo. Sonic Generations 2D levels incentivize you to hone your skills at platforming, and they reward you with quicker and easier paths to the finish. It's a beautiful system, really. The 3D levels are more a test of reaction time than anything else. You move through these levels so fast and so much is coming at you at once that the biggest thing you, the player, can control at any given moment is whether or not you catch that one fucking boost ring hidden off screen, is whether or not you're able to hit the right jumps at the right moments in order to secure the quickest and most streamlined paths to the finish without losing any momentum. And speaking of momentum, that right there is the key to all of this. What Sonic Generations wants to know, above all else, is can you succeed at platforming? Can you succeed at having a quick reaction time? And can you do both of these things adequately enough while still maintaining all of, if not most of your momentum? If you can excel at all three of these components concurrently, then you will create a rewarding environment full of adrenaline, razor-sharp focus, and flat-out fun. Scientific research suggests that adrenaline is basically crack, and the more you get of it, the more you want. So when you're plowing through these levels at the speed of sound, and you're not bumping into anything, your momentum is consistent, and you're just locked in because you know that you're on a freaking roll right now and absolutely nothing can stop you, that's crack, my friends. That's crack. Sonic Generations gameplay is almost addictive because of the feedback loop here. It makes you want to get better at the game because you know that the better you get, the faster you'll be able to go. And the faster you can go, the more of that sweet, sweet crack, I mean adrenaline, you'll receive. Sonic Generations. We need to talk. It's not you, it's me. I think we've just become two different people. I've grown and changed over the years. My thoughts, my feelings, my tastes, they've all matured. And you? Well, It's like you're just content staying the same. You're content dishing out the same low-hanging fruit day in, day out, 24/7, 365 days a year. It's like I don't even know you anymore. Well, wait, that doesn't make any sense. It's like I know you too well. You're content with remaining fixated on this one thing, this one minute thing. You're fixated on nostalgia. Sonic Generations is obsessed with nostalgia. Oh my god. This game will take every nanosecond that it's not giving you raw gameplay to remind you about the good old days of this franchise. Remember Chemical Plant Zone, you guys? Remember that awesome City Escape theme song? Remember when the big truck chased you down the streets of San Diego? Remember this, dude? Remember Perfect Chaos? Remember... Oh my god, Green Hill Zone is literally the first level. I'm sick of it. I am so done with Green Hill Zone, you don't even know. To be fair to Generations, the remade versions of all these hyper-nostalgic assets recycled from past games are done really, really well, and in many cases are done better than their predecessor. As for me, I'm a new man now. I've been able to move past my intolerance for nostalgia baiting, like I did in Sonic Mania, but I still think it's worth addressing this apparent weakness on Sega's part sprinkled throughout all of Sonic Generations. Because the thing is, Generations was made during a time in Sonic's life when Sega didn't know what the hell to do with the guy. They tried turning him into a werewolf, that didn't work. They tried tweaking his personality to make him sound more like a pretentious douchebag, didn't work. They even tried giving him a bandana and literally stripping him of the one thing he's most known for. Actually, you know what? I'm not going there. I'm not going there, bro. I'm not going there. It's obvious that around this time period, Sega was at an absolute loss as to what to do with the blue blur. So they decided with Generations to just take every single thing from every past Sonic game that actually worked and mash it all together to create what is essentially a remastered greatest hits album. And more power to them, because this particular act of desperation actually worked. Generations is maybe that one game from this era of Sonic that is actually good. I guess a blind squirrel does find a nut every once in a while. But here's the other thing. The only reason this worked so well was because of its heavy over-reliance on better days gone by. Sega knew at this point that Sonic had depreciated, and they knew that nothing else was working. So they got desperate and decided to pull the ultimate bitch move that any game developer can pull. They gave us Green Hill Zone yet again in their game's opening act. Mamma mia. Call it whatever you want. Call it whatever you like. Call it Sonic the Hedgehog's midlife crisis. I don't care. But if you as a gaming company, a company that creates video games, are unable to find a way to move forward with your biggest and most valuable asset, and you instead stay put and just use nostalgia as a get-out-of-jail-free card to garner interest for your newest game, all you're doing is drawing more attention to what was becoming an increasingly more apparent reality at the time. That Sonic was lesser than he once was, that he was smaller than he once was, that he had peaked years ago, and now in the year 2012, he's not the powerhouse he once was, his brand is actively getting smaller by the day, and we at Sega have no idea how to correct that. Sonic Generations is a quality Sonic the Hedgehog video game. I like the heck out of this game, but just because I like it doesn't mean I have to respect it. It's a good game, but that fact alone is devalued by its over-reliance on nostalgia. Let me clarify. My newfound love for Sonic Mania stems from the game expertly finding a way to stand on its own 2 feet in spite of its usage of nostalgic assets. Yes, it does have Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant Zone in it, but ultimately it finds a way via the level design and overall presentation to make these nostalgic levels feel new at their core. Sonic Generations doesn't bother doing that. It takes everything that worked from every past Sonic title and basically just remasters it. You might as well change its name from Sonic Generations to Sonic Classic Collection Premium, Remastered Edition. There you have it, folks. My thoughts on Sonic Generations, the video game. A few of you are probably going to be a little bit pissed off at me after watching this video, but that's why there's a comment section. That's why comment sections exist. If you feel the need to let me know whether or not you agree or disagree with my opinions on this game, or you just feel some sort of overriding urge to let me know what you think of me, leave a comment down below for me, why don't you? Otherwise, that's about it for me, folks. And, whoa, that was fast. Alright guys, the angry mob is currently on its way up the street toward my house, so I'm a skedaddle. That's about it for me today, guys. Have a great rest of your day.